Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Quote of the day: always make a total effort even when the odds are against you. Arnold Palmer. I am Dr. Hussain Mahmood. Today I am presenting on topic leadership theories, great man theory, trait theory, behaviorist theory under the kind supervision of Professor Dr. Saira Afzal. Learning outlines. Introduction about leadership and leadership theories, great man theory of leadership, trait theory of leadership, behavioral theory of leadership, recent updates and MCQs. Learning outcomes. By the end of this presentation, we would be able to have basic understanding of concepts of leadership and leadership theories, understanding about great man theory, trait theory, and behavioral theory. Now, leadership. What is leadership? Leadership is the ability to develop vision that motivate others to move with a passion toward a common goal. So, leadership is a process by which a person influences others to accomplish an objective and directs the organization in a way that makes it more cohesive and coherent. Four factor of leadership: leader, second factor is follower, third factor is communication, and fourth is situation. Now we will discuss four factors of leadership in detail. First is leader. Leader must have an honest understanding of who he is, what he knows, and what he can do. To be successful, he have to convince his followers, not his superiors, that he is worthy of being followed. Next is follower. Follower must know his people. The fundamental starting point is having a good understanding of human nature, such as needs, emotions, and motivations. Next is communication. The non-verbal communication is leading. For example, when he set example that communicates to his people that he would not ask them to perform anything that he could not be willing to do. Bad communication harm the relation between leader and employee. The last part is situation. We must use our judgment to decide the best course of action and the leadership style needed for each situation. What we do in one situation will not always work in another. Then the different leadership theories: contingency theory, trait theory, relationship theory, great man theory, situational theory, behavioral theory, participative theory, management theory. Then we will discuss great man theories. Great man theory. This theory is based on following assumptions. Perfect or excellent leaders are born, not developed. Leadership is inherent quality. Leaders have inborn traits of courage, intelligence, confidence, intuitions, and charm, among others. Great leaders can arise when there is a great need. Characteristics of great man theory. The theory is linked with the statement of famous historian Thomas Carlyle. The history of the world is nothing but the biography of great men. Leaders are gifted with unique qualities which impress the mass. Leader work like hero and accomplishes his goals for his followers. All leader all leaders share their traits regardless of when and where they lived. The leaders who are in power, they deserve as they have special inborn traits. The trait remains stable over time and across the place. Leadership qualities and effectiveness are independent variables. Situational factors like the nature and need of followers, the demand of task and general socioeconomic environment have little or no influence on a leader's emergence or effectiveness. The theory discounts the belief that individual can be trained for assuming leadership position and roles, and criticism of the theory. It is clear that great man theory has no scientific basis and empirical validity. The theory had a absurd belief that some people become great and successful leaders independent of their environment situations. The theory was completely rejected by the modern leaders and theorists who believed and proved that leaders are not born, but they can be made with proper training and skills. Then we move toward trade theory. The trade theory approach arose from the great man theory as a way of identifying the key characteristics of successful leaders. It considered personality, social, physical, or intellectual traits to differentiate leaders from non leaders. It was believed that through this theory, critical leadership traits could be isolated and that people with such traits could then be recruited, selected, and installed into leadership positions. This theory was common in the military and is still used as a set of criteria to select candidates for commissions. These are the parts of trade theory of leadership: ambition and energy, desire to lead, honesty and integrity, self confidence, intelligence, and job relevant knowledge. Advantages of this theory: it is naturally pleasing theory. It serves as a yardstick against which the leadership traits of an individual can be assessed. It gives a detailed knowledge and understanding of the leader element in the leadership process. Limitation of the theory: there is a bound to be some subjective judgment in determining who is regarded as a good or successful leader. There is also a disagreement over which traits are the most important for an effective leader. Three traits every successful leader must have. Without exceptions, there are three traits that every leader must have in order to be successful. You can attempt to lead without them, but at least one of four things will eventually happen if you do. You will be miserable, that you will burn out. Your team will fail to completing their work. Your team member will leave and your team will lose respect for you. The first trait every successful leader must have is the desire to lead. Without it, you will never be comfortable in the leader role. You will struggle every day with the basics, and your team members will sense it in everything you do. If you don't burn out first, you will find that work suffers and your team is frustrated because they can't do their work without you doing yours. They may eventually leave if you don't first. The second trait every successful leader must have is commitment to the mission and vision of the organization where they work. Imagine trying to convince others to give their best in order to accomplish something they don't believe in. That's difficult. But trying to convert them to believing in the mission and vision of an organization when you don't believe it yourself, that's simply impossible. The third trait every successful leader must have is integrity. The integrity is in this sense, integrity in this sense has a simple meaning doing what you say you will do and behaving the way that you expect your team to behave. At first glance, that may sound simple enough, but if you truly master integrity, you will find that it changes whole team and even when organization for the betterment. Behavioral theory. In 1950, Ranson's Lycott attempted to find the characteristic of effective leaders. It focused that natural abilities are not important, but it is environment which is responsible to make a person leader. The success of leadership is based on behavior of leader. A specific behavior is required for effective and successful leadership and it can be learned. Assumption of behavioral theory. This theory believes that leader can be made rather than born. Successful leadership is based on definable and learnable behavior. Specific behavior differentiate leaders from non-leaders. Particular behavior determine the style of leadership, autocratic or democratic, etc. The most prominent types of behaviors of leaders, task-oriented leaders and people-oriented leaders. Task-oriented leaders. Task-oriented leaders are primarily concerned with the systems and structures that lets their team carry out their work. This includes everything from task descriptions to standard operating procedures, organizational and team structure, communication lines, and so on. Task-oriented leaders show following behavior: initiating, organizing, clarifying, information gathering. People-oriented leaders. Unlike task-oriented leaders, this group puts more effort into seeing to the human needs of their team and motivating them through that. It's not that they don't focus on the task or system. They just put more time and behavioral focus on their team as possible as people with wants and needs. A people-oriented leader would behave differently, going straight to the employee and asking if there was any way they could help and what caused the problem. People-oriented leaders show following behaviors: encouraging, observing, listening, and coaching and monitoring. Criticism of the behavioral theory. Behavioral theory of leadership proposes leadership style, but a specific leadership style may not be best in all circumstances. Help managers to develop particular leadership behaviors, but they provide little guidance as to what constitutes effective leadership in different situations. Difficult to say which style of leadership was significant in enabling one group to work better than another. Does not consider the time factors. Then recent updates. The article is, do we need a new leadership paradigm due to COVID-19? Abstract. Employers, whether the changing context of COVID-19 requires new leadership skills in organizations and perhaps even a new context-specific leadership theory. 14 professional blogs and reports related to leadership skill and practices in response to COVID-19, published in the professional online literature. During the height of the pandemic, March 16 to December 20, 2020, were reviewed in terms of suggested new leadership style dimension and contrasted with the tenets of existing academic leadership theories. The proponents of an emerging leadership style advocate that in dealing with the pandemic, leaders must be able to manage their organization in turbulent times, lead a distributed workforce of individuals and teams, and becomes a resilient leader themselves. Synthesis. The analysis suggests the leadership dimensions called for during the pandemic were already present in transformational leadership theories. For example, yani authentic, shared, feminine, servant, and crisis leadership theories. But the pandemic provided the structural break, accelerating the existing transformational leadership paradigm. COVID-19 also confirmed leadership matters and the command and control leadership style still prevent it may of your top-down bureaucratic organizations is outdated. Then MCQs. First MCQs, healthcare setting in Pakistan have short human resources for management and leadership. Leadership can be learned with social interactions and environment. This leadership theory is an example of great man theory, trade theory, nurture theory, situational theory, behavioral theory. Natural theory. Let's see. Participative leadership has which of the following characteristics? Believes success arises from leaders and staff working together, implies a clear chain of command, task the view that reward and punishment motivate staff, seeks to involve staff in the decision-making process.
D.
Yes, it's D. It's D. Seek the involved staff in the decision-making process. A researcher is interested in identifying characteristics of leader. Which of the following studies isolate characteristics that differentiate leaders from non-leaders? Sorry. Trait theory, behavioral theory, transactional theory, and situational theory. Anyone? It's A, trait theory. The trait approach to leadership that suggests that leaders have special innate qualities. Leadership traits are clearly visible. Traits are based on social classes. Traits cannot be measured. Anyone?
A.
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 Yes, A. Leaders have special innate qualities. Which of the following theoretical approaches in the study of leadership focus on followers' readiness as a determinant of effective leadership? Big Five personality model, situational leadership theory,